American and Japanese military forces have launched joint exercises amid tensions with North Korea over its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. The 13th annual Iron Fist exercises kicked off Friday in the U.S. western state of California and will continue through February 12. More than 500 U.S. Marines and sailors are partnering with about 350 members of the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force to train in fire support operations and amphibious assaults. This is realistic and challenging training in partnership with the Japanese to better prepare us and them for anything that might happen in the Pacific so that we are ready to respond. Second Lieutenant Tori Simonek, a spokesman for the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit in California. Exercise Iron Fist comes as tensions with North Korea have put Japan, South Korea and the United States on alert. North Korea tested an intercontinental ballistic missile in November that some experts believe is capable of hitting anywhere in the continental United States. Earlier this month, U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un exchanged threats about the size, location and potency of their nuclear buttons. The U.S. and South Korea recently postponed joint military exercises until after the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics next month. U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis called the delay a practical matter and said exercises would resume after the March 9 to the 18th Paralympic Games.
North Korea has once again demanded that the U.S. and South Korea stop conducting joint military drills. North made the appeal on Friday on a website for the country's liaison body with the South. The commentary says dialogue between the two countries and the exercises are entirely incompatible. It adds that the drills should be completely stopped, not just postponed. The U.S. and South Korea decided not to conduct annual military drills during the upcoming Winter Games in Pyeongchang. The U.S. Defense Secretary has said that they will take place after the Games instead. North Korea said it would attend next month's Olympics following Tuesday's inter-Korean talks. It also agreed to hold military talks with the South to ease tensions on the Korean peninsula.
The two Koreas restored both communication lines at the border village of Panmunjom and at the West Sea area. Now the big question is when and how Seoul and Pyongyang will hold their first military talks in 3 years. Our Oh Jung-hee has the details.
Communication channels between the two Koreas are being restored as the apparent thaw in relations continues. The two Koreas' Western military communication line is now back open, complementing the inter-Korean hotline at the truce village of Panmunjom, restored just last week. The Western line became fully operational Wednesday morning after Seoul and Pyongyang conducted a brief maintenance check. It was almost 2 years that Pyongyang disconnected them in February 2016 in protest against Seoul's shutdown of the jointly run Kaesong Industrial Complex.
South Korea and North Korea will be able to talk about various military issues through this channel, which will help greatly in preventing clashes at the inter-Korean Sea or land border. The fact that Pyongyang has restored this line means it's willing to keep its relations with Seoul.
This line will also become the main channel through which the military authorities of Seoul and Pyongyang fine-tune the specifics of the military talks they agreed to on Tuesday. Neither the schedule nor the agenda of the talks is yet known, but South Korea's defense ministry says the top priority is the successful and peaceful hosting of the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. Then the two sides may be able to touch upon other security issues, which might even stretch to cover Seoul's anti-Pyongyang loudspeaker broadcast at the border.
The talks are likely to be on a working level, where Seoul and Pyongyang discuss the method and safety measures to be used for the North Korean athletes and delegation to walk to the south through the demilitarized zone.
Experts think Pyongyang could eventually demand that Seoul suspend its joint military drills with Washington and scrap the deployment of U.S. strategic assets, but not immediately. If held within this month, the military talks would be the first in over 3 years since October 2014.
After sharply escalating tensions through months of verbal sparring with Kim Jong-un, Donald Trump's latest comments raised eyebrows. This time they seem to suggest the American president may be taking a different stance on the regime and its leader. Lee Jung-yeon turned to some experts for their take on the change in tone.
Judging by recent comments from U.S. President Donald Trump, Washington might appear to be taking a more open stance toward Pyongyang. Trump said on Thursday in an interview with the Wall Street Journal that he probably has very good relations with Kim, stressing that he does indeed have relationships with people. This raises questions about whether a shift is underway in America's North Korea policy, since the comments are in stark contrast to his more provocative choice of phrases like fire and fury or calling its leader Little Rocket Man. But experts say the latest comments, though different, do not signal a change in policy.
Trump changes his words according to the situation. So if North Korea refuses to negotiate the nuclear issue or makes another provocation, his attitude could flip 180 degrees and then we'd see him play the more pressure and sanctions card.
The expert adds that since the upcoming 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics could be used as a platform for peaceful dialogue, Trump's latest comments might be a strategic way of bringing North Korea to the discussion table. Also, with the inter-Korean high-level talks that took place on Tuesday, experts think Trump is choosing his words more carefully.
It doesn't look like President Trump changed his mind on North Korea, but tactically, he does not want to antagonize North Korea this time because South and North Korea, the talks between two countries are in progress.
In the interview, Trump said his past attitude toward Kim Jong-un was all part of a broader strategy. But the general opinion of pundits is that Trump plays it by ear, and that his latest comments were what he deemed strategically necessary in the current situation.
Iron Fist training will take place at Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton, Naval Amphibious Base Coronado, and Naval Auxiliary Landing Field San Clemente Island. The main training event will be a scenario-based amphibious assault launched from the USS Rushmore amphibious landing ship, in coordination with an inland helicopter assault. This will be the last joint exercise before Japan establishes its Amphibious Rapid Deployment Brigade in March. The new Japanese unit is similar to the U.S. Marines and could be used to defend contested territories.